Morning, guys. In this tale from the hoodie, I'm wearing my Cali for NIA hoodie. You can see it's got the California Star and Golden Bear. That's basically the flag, state flag California, but it doesn't, state flag doesn't say Cali for NIA on it. You know, that whole logo came up probably maybe 10, 15 years ago, I suppose. It came out of really what was, I think, you know, the birthing or otherwise the run-up with hip-hop media. Hip-hop, you know, bands, hip-hop singers, artists, rap artists, gangsta, that kind of stuff. And so it had a little bit of a different meaning. I've had this hoodie for probably just as long because this hoodie was the last hoodie from the inventory of my wife's hip-hop store. She had, when we lived on the island of Saipan, she had a store called HipHop Islands. Mostly because, you know, we were on an island, so we wanted to have a theme of islands, a lot of, you know, reggae, Rasta kind of stuff, and hip-hop, because really, you know, hip-hop is a great genre. It's, I think President Obama, he said something, and I remember putting it in a sign, something about hip-hop going to be the next something, I don't know. I'll try and put it in the video. But yeah. So this tale was kind of about the entrepreneurship, and I think for me, I have always thought I could do anything. I could always, you know, not that rocket science stuff, but I always thought that I could endeavor to, you know, start any kind of business or run a business, you know. I could have been a millionaire, a billionaire, but now I chose not to. Yeah. But this hoodie is I really like it. It's warm, and it does give me that also attachment to remembering that I, you know, grew up in my young adulthood and adult life in California, of course, before I left to go to the islands, where I really grew up in my entire adult life. But my wife's store, it allowed us to be able to kind of incorporate all the things we like into the store. And I think that was one of the successful parts. You know, you want to do a business that you like. You know, we brought in all this reggae and hip hop stuff, and you know, and who doesn't like, you know, reggae stuff on islands, right? And then soon after, I think the island had its first skate park. It made a skate park, and but it never had a skate shop or anything like that. So of course I had the connections from Huntington Beach, California, and wound up opening up or kind of carving out a section of the store was basically the skate section. Sold completes, meaning skateboards that had everything ready to go, and then you know, a whole bunch of decks, and of course the trucks and the wheels, anything you can need for a skateboard, the tools, I would have it there. And some kids would come in and want new wheels, and they wouldn't know how to put them on or whatever, so I'd bust out the tools and do that for them and stuff like that. That was mostly on my downtime, because I was working full-time in the school system. And the story really was that my wife was working on Saipan, and she was pulling like 16-hour days, 7 days a week or 6 days a week. It was crazy when I met her. And then, you know, and back then the minimum wage was some crazy $2.25 or something like that. But for her, it was still good money. But after a while, I was, you know, we were planning on, I guess, being together. So I wanted to see more of her, so I asked her if maybe she could stop working. You know, and she could just hang out. I mean, I made enough money at that point. So she was like, yeah, I can do that, you know. And so she stopped working, but like everybody, even in retirement, you know, you kind of like, well, I want to do something. So she thought maybe she would go out to the Thursday night street market. On Thursdays they had a street market, and she'd you know, have a table there, and maybe she could try and sell some stuff. And so that's what she did. I think we bought a folding table or something like that, and she went, I think she came back to Thailand and went to the wholesale marketplaces down there in Bangkok and Chinatown and all that, and bought a bunch of stuff. Didn't buy a ton of stuff, but bought a whole bunch of stuff, and you know, mostly like earrings, necklaces, you know, reggae kind of stuff if you can find it, and this and that, and bracelets. A lot of those leather bracelets with the studs on them and all that kind of stuff were pretty popular back then. And came back and we set it up. I had to work usually, I mean, in the school system, you know, hey, school's out at 2:30 or 3 o'clock, something like that, but we were opening, it was a brand new school for the principal and I, and I was there till 6, 8, 10 at night, you know. We both were doing stuff, making it happen, trying to make the school the best, you know. And it was good because you didn't have all these regulations back then, you know. I mean, now you can't stay on campus, man. So they kick you out, you know, security or whatever. So anyway, but on Thursdays I would make it a point to leave by like about 4:30 or 4 o'clock or something like that. Maybe 4:30, and then drive over to my house. My wife had already packed everything ready for the market, and I'd pull up and, you know, open up the car or whatever, and we'd stuff everything inside there, drive down to the market, open up and, you know, carry everything into the market. I think if you got there early you could drive up and offload and then park your car somewhere else. And you know, it felt good. It was like, oh my God, we're gonna do this street market. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Because we always went to the street market anyway. It was something we liked to do. And everybody on the island did that. And also when we started doing that, you know, people would know us. They're like, hey, you know, see you there every Thursday. Anyway, it became quite popular. My wife began to, you know more and more people, and of course everybody knew me at the time. But my wife's table was a popular place to get things that were trending within the age group. And I say that because I think that's really important for anybody who's going to be doing business. They do say, you know, oh yes, you know, you do what you like. I don't know that that's a golden rule, but I wouldn't do anything unless I liked it. I'm not going into, you know, crypto and everything else, you know. Let other people make those millions. I'll you know, just do what I like. And so we like doing that, so that was a lot of fun. And the target audience really kind of fell into place, because that's the other I think important factor for success in business is, if you want immediate success, or I think a quick return on your business profile, whatever, you have to target the audience that is the largest group within everybody that's going to want your product. Okay, I mean that's where you're going to probably make your most money. So for us, you know, we sold stuff that anybody from whatever 2 years old to, you know, probably I guess in the 30s, 20s to 30s. I mean, we didn't get a lot of old people coming into our store unless they were buying for their kids or something, their grandkids or whatever. But our group was really the school age group. The crux of it was school age, whether you were in you know, primary, elementary, high school, or college, the school age group. And within our population of the island, the largest group by demographic was the school age group. And if I lived in a retirement community where the, you know, largest population that would go buy stuff was all 65 and older, I would not open a hip hop store, you know. So you try and target your audience in terms of the largest demographic, because then most of the people have potential to buy it, right? A lot of people open up stores and they fail, and I think part of the failing is because they're doing what they like, but they're too specific. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna open up a really cute handbag store, you know. Well, the handbags are probably beautiful. They're awesome, they're cute. But where's your target audience? How many people are buying handbags? And how many handbag stores are there in your area? So you're probably not going to be making a lot. I remember specifically the store next to us, or next to my wife's store, was, you know, they had all kinds of stuff, and they were selling Levi's and clothing. They were clothing retail, and they had some other stuff, but mostly clothing. We did have clothing too, but mostly all just kind of you know, reggae t-shirts and hoodies, long sleeve, and a lot of hip-hop and biker kind of crazy designs and stuff, cool stuff. And we would sell stuff all day long, like at $1. You know, we had a wall of earrings. My wife would custom make different earrings and stuff. And, you know, the earrings were only, I don't know, I think we sold them for 50 cents or something. And in other parts of the island, they were probably selling for $3. But we would sell consistently, you know, 50 cents, $1, $2, $3, all day long. And the guy next to us, you know, he wouldn't sell anything. He'd wait to sell that one pair of Levi's or whatever for $20. So he might wait all day long just to get the 20. And I'll work all day long at a 50 cents or $1 every couple of minutes, so I wind up making, you know, 5 times as much as him. So, you know, the pricing also, I suppose, has an effect, because your age group has a certain, your demographic for your age group, you know, they have a certain amount of income. Kids, they ain't got no income, usually. So they're looking for their parents or something. So you got to have something to reel them in or make them, you know, want to, hey, you know what, you can come into the store and get something for $1 and walk out going, cool, I got a bracelet, I'm gonna wear that to school tomorrow or to college tomorrow, you know, and feel good about it. But it wasn't only, we did those Thursdays, and it was rain or shine, you know. You know, we did Thursdays, I think only about 2 months or so, and it was so popular that my wife asked, you know, maybe we should have a store front or whatever. So I was, of course, you know, whatever, sure. So we drove around the island, found this one right on the main beach road, found this one unit in a 4-unit place. It also had an apartment on the top of the whole building, just one apartment up there. And when we looked at it, it was a tiny little slot, rent was cheap, and we were living in a big house, like I think on the hill, you know, 2-story, 3-bedroom or something like that, 2-bath. Nice place, beautiful view and all that. But this was right on Beach Road, basically walk across the street to the beach. And the top apartment was being used for storage or something by the owner. So I negotiated with the owner for the, you know, I'll take the apartment and the store for this one price. And I don't remember what it was. I think it was like, I'm gonna say like $600 maybe, or $450. I don't remember, but it was pretty cheap. And it actually had the same meter for power to go from the store straight up to the house. So, or from the house to the store. So that worked out too, because power was expensive, and it probably still is. Power is usually expensive on islands. Sometimes it gets out of hand. But we had a good time, and we found the store, so we opened the store, and we're like, yay! So we thought we'd open the store, and my wife ran the store basically, because I was working. So she was in there every day. We'd close on Thursdays, and then we would go to the Thursday market. But we only did that a couple of times, and then we were like, you know what, maybe we should try, because it's work, man. It's work doing those street markets. So we thought we'd try to just not go to the street market, open on Thursday, see if we made money in the store, even though everybody liked to go to the street market. We thought, well, we'll open the store, and if we make the same amount of money, or if we make, you know, if we're doing okay, then we won't go to the street market. And that first night of the store, we made, I think, more money than the street market. So we're like, whoa. So then that was the end of the street market. Although what we would do is we'd close early, like 8 maybe or something, I don't know, and then we'd drive down the street market and walk around and have fun. Get something to eat, whatever. The street market, I think, was 6 to 10 or something like that. Pretty cool. But that store took off, you know. She did real good. We kept buying. When we first opened it up, I don't know if I have pictures. I probably got some kind of archived pictures. Maybe I can throw them up. We really only had like not that many, a few things in the store, like, you know, 10 shirts or something, and this and that. We're like, woohoo, looks beautiful. And then we later, you know, years later, you would look at the store and it's like packed in there, all kinds of stuff. We're like, wow, how do we go from there to there, you know? We would just buy more and more product because it was selling. My wife would go to Thailand, and sometimes I'd go with her, you know, for the wholesale shopping. We'd get up at crack of dawn, like 3 o'clock in the morning, get out to Chinatown, you know, where they would fill the street with all the wholesale stuff, and then, you know, by 8 o'clock or something, they would pull it off the street because, you know, you had traffic, or maybe by 6 o'clock they'd pull it off the street. But we go down there and, you know, hurricane for like 2 or 3 days of just buy, and then we could come back, we'd stuff it all in duffel bags, and we'd pay the extra luggage or whatever, and we'd bring it all back hand carry. And so we could go straight from the airport to the store, and boom, the product is out, you know. And we would just actually close the store for those few days, and we'd put a sign up that said closed, new inventory coming or something. And but yeah, I think there were years. I think there was one year we may have went like 5 times to get product. And I was also traveling to California for the school district, maybe once or twice a year, something like that, once a year for a while. For a few years in a row, there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of training and stuff. And then I'd go to California, and then when I would be done with my training, I would go to the skater wholesale place, or I'd go, you know, into the LA garment industry, because we started looking at wholesale there to see if we could get different stuff. And they have Santee Alley. If you haven't heard of that, Google Santee Alley, S-A-N-T-E-E. Pretty cool place for wholesale. Of course, now it's mostly a tourist kind of wholesale place, but, you know, I worked the deal. I got a lot of cool t-shirts and a lot of good deals out of California. And then eventually we actually thought, well, you know what? Maybe we can get it even cheaper if we go to China. So we went to China one year. I think it was New Year's. We actually went to kind of make it a twofold purpose. And that's what you did a lot. Whenever you're making money, you need to go restock, you know, you kind of make it a vacation as well or something, you know, you go do stuff. We did the whole Great Wall, you know, Terracotta Warriors, all that kind of stuff, at the same time looking into the wholesale market in China, see what we could buy, and see if we got some of the same products or whatever, and get them cheaper. And I think we found, I'm not sure if we started selling high top sneakers, basketball shoes. Not a lot of them, maybe 6 or 8 pair or 10 pair or something like that at a time. But anyway, it was quite fun, and it was that whole entrepreneur kind of, you know, spirit where you're thinking, hey, you know, I'm a small business owner, and you're having fun. It's paying for all your travel. It's paying for all your accommodations. You know, you're getting to buy stuff, and who doesn't like buying stuff, right? And you're buying stuff you like because, again, we liked that, you know, hip-hop genre, that whole environment. You know, we'd blast the hip-hop songs in the store and all that. And later, when I would finish working in the school system, and I wound up, I had a contract to work in California, into it. And then to a school in Northern California, I was up there, and then I thought, you know what, this quiet little, well, maybe not so quiet, but this little town where I lived in Hayward, it was an old town circle kind of place, you know, people walk around and stuff. And I thought, hey, maybe I can open a second store in here. And so I looked around, and the same thing. I found a nice little slot. The rent was good. I got a good deal for the lease or whatever. So I opened up another store there. And although, because California is definitely a big skater place, this store, instead of calling it Hip Hop Islands, I called it Hip Hop Islands and Skate. And I had like a little handwritten, you know, skate on the signage. And you know, did the whole wall of skateboards and all that other stuff, and got it all going. And I kind of left it open while I was still working on it, you know, putting racks up. I did all the work, interior work myself. And I think my wife sent a bunch of inventory that she had, excess or whatever, on the island, sent it to me. And then I think I did go to Thailand once to buy more inventory for that purpose. I can't remember, but I do know I had it all going. Unfortunately, the contract I had for the school system finished, and they decided not to renew the contract. Not to really necessarily renew me. I was an administrator. They let go 27 administrators in one, you know, school year, basically, one fell swoop. And I was kind of last hired, so, you know, last hired, first out, right? So I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks. And so now, and it was a small area, and, you know, in California, not so easy to just run into another job and boom, you know, when you file, you know, it's all central database when you try and get a job in California as an administrator. There are probably 300 or 400 administrators going for that same job. I mean, I was fortunate because I figured out the system early. I knew what to say in my online profile and application and answer to any questions they had, so that I'd always get picked for the primary interview. Usually it was online. Sometimes I have to drive around the state to go there. And then after that interview, you would get picked for the executive level interview to maybe only 2 or 3 people, and to see who it was. But it wasn't going to be happening really quick. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, how am I going to, you know, I'm living, I got an apartment up there, and it was a, you know, pretty pricey apartment place across from the university. And I thought, how am I going to pay the rent for that? And, you know, I just bought a brand new car as well. And the rent for the store, and can I make enough money in the store? Well, I didn't have any clientele base. There was nothing going. It wasn't gonna probably float. I would have failed probably. And I was like, so that's when we decided to do a rethink, and I wound up packing up everything in the store, put it in storage, put my car in storage, and then went back to Saipan where my wife was with the store, and we decided to, you know, move to California basically. You know, we kind of could do whatever, but we decided, you know, we sell the store in Saipan. We sold it to a couple of sisters, a couple of young girls, super people. And, you know, they had that entrepreneur spirit too. They're like, yeah, we want to do this. And so they took off and do it. I think they don't have the store anymore, but they probably had fun when they first took it, and was, you know, woo-woo, you get a lot of people. It's a good feeling. And anyway, but we sold it, and we left Saipan and came back to California, flew in, went straight back to my storage unit with a big Penske rental truck, put all the gear, put all the stuff, skateboards and everything in the truck, and got my car out, and drove the truck and the car down to Southern California, where we actually bought a house. Prior to me taking off, I had flown down to Palm Springs area, where my wife saw a house on the internet, and I went and looked at that house and basically bought it the same day, and did everything. I had to fly out, but we did everything electronically, so I didn't have to worry about it. And I got the key to my sister, and and she was basically waiting at the house at like midnight or something when we finally got there. But moved in, and then it was cool because I had an extra room where I basically put the racks up in there, and I put the store in that part of the house so I could see all the stuff, and also I just want to cram it all in boxes. Yeah. So having that stuff in the room there, I thought, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Do we want to open a store in Southern California? That was probably not feasible because, one, I still didn't have a contract to work anywhere, and two, rent down there, retail space, forget about it, man. It was out of our reach. And so what I decided to do was like, hey, man, eBay. That's what eBay's for, right? So I wound up doing set up a little photo booth, whatever, and took pictures of all my product, and of course I had other pictures too, and started selling it on eBay. Opened up the store. I still actually have that store handle in eBay. I think it's called Retail Rebel 13 or something like that. And I started selling the stuff, and it was easy peasy, man. This stuff going like hotcakes right on. I sold it, discounted because I really just wanted to make my money back, get rid of all the inventory and stuff like that. And that took off, and I thought, gosh, man, anybody could do this, And we lived in Southern California, and I don't know about where you live, but we always had these yard sales and all that other stuff, and we would go out to yard sales, and we thought about doing yard sales, but in our community where we live, they didn't allow yard sales, or they did once in the 8 years we lived there. But it was cool because I could sell everything on the internet. And what I also found out in the States or whatever, and certainly, well, it's U.S. Postal Service, so it must be everywhere. But you can go on to the U.S. Postal Service online, and you can order the priority mailboxes in any size, any amount, and they will deliver them to your house for free. And I would just print labels, put them on a box, put the box outside, and it would be picked up for free. So I didn't incur any additional costs for, buying all the shipping materials basically. And I thought, whoa, that's pretty cool. It saved me money right there. And funny story on that one. One time I think I would order usually about maybe like 100 boxes or 20 boxes, big ones or something like that. And somehow I ordered. I think I accidentally put 2 extra zeros or something like that. I came home from, we were driving around, whatever, came home one day, and I think there was 2,000 boxes sitting on my driveway, like a couple pallets. I was like, oh, what happened? And I realized, obviously, I put 0. So I drove to the post office and said, hey, what do I do with all those? And they were pretty cool. They're like, oh, just bring them over here. So cool, I just kept loading them up in the truck and would drive over to the post office, drop them back off, but, well, show they will. If you want 2,000, they'll give you 2,000. So it was crazy, but we got it all done, and I sold all the inventory, and then we thought, hey, maybe we can sell other stuff. So we would go actually to these yard sales, like I was saying, and with that entrepreneur spirit, we'd go to the yard sales and we'd find something cool looking. I'd take it home, take a picture of it, whatever, and throw it up on eBay. And you can either have a fixed price or you can set a bid where you can opening bid, people can bid for it. Although people bid on a fixed price anyway, they say, well, I'll give you this much if you send it to me right now or something like that. But and so we continued to do that, and that was fun. It was more like a hobby because you could do that, and but you get that extra $50 or something, $100 a month, and that would be a couple of buffets at the casino or whatever. You would do these little things to keep the ball moving. I did wind up taking contracts during that time overseas, a couple different contracts overseas, so I think my wife was able to sell some of the stuff online. Another thing I did with respect to online, going into these Goodwill stores, thrift shops, and finding stuff there and reselling it. What I did was I went and I would find books, and that's another tapped market, I think, that people often don't know about. But all these used books out there in California, it's probably easier because there's so many universities, and universities use books, and normally when you're done with school you sell your book back and get money back. But a lot of times people that went to college, they just blow it off and it's in college, and then they move, and then they give stuff to Goodwill or whatever. And I would go to Goodwill and I could have an app on my phone, and I could pull a book, and I snap the barcode, and it would tell me, is that recording? Yeah. It would tell me how much that book was worth, and I could actually click and, you know, get a label and send it to the app, so I could actually get money for books, and the books in the thrift stores were like 50 cents or $1, and I could sell it, maybe I got $15 back on that book, depends. So I bought a ton of books, you know, and was doing that for a little bit. I really enjoyed it. Mostly I focused on education books, not so much like, I did focus also on some like parenting books and stuff like that, because I knew, you know, again, demographic, that's a big demographic. People probably looking for that kind of stuff. It was cool, it was a lot of fun. And, you know, even from early on, when I was in college, I would think entrepreneur, thinking I want to be my own business owner. I want to be my own boss. You know, I don't want to have to listen to anybody. And that worked out. And here in Thailand, I'm retired, but you know, you still think of what you can do. I just met a couple the other night at the festival, and you know, he was thinking he wants to build, you know, maybe get the land, build out a little bit of a restaurant and have a cafe shop, some. You know, we could do that too. We're not there yet because we're not thinking about that, but certainly as we develop here in the future, we could probably do anything we want to do. I think I would encourage everybody to do something. Why not? You can do it online too. There's guys that make a ton of money that what they do is they look at something on eBay, they'll look at it online. Let's say it's selling for, you know, $25 on eBay. They right-click, capture that picture, put it in their store, and sell it for maybe the retail price of $32.99 or something like that. And somebody buys it from them at $32.99. They go back to that store and they basically drop ship it. They buy it for the $25 and they send it with the address to the guy who bought it from you. So you never even got the product at all. You just basically saw it somewhere else, jacked up the price, send it to them. And they do that like all day long, you know, and making a killing. Unbelievable. And then there's the guys who go to a full retail store, like, you know, discount retail like Walmart or Kmart or something like that, and they buy up all the stuff that's on super sale for, you know, $2 for a kid's t-shirt that's normally $15 or something, and then they put it in their own little inventory and ship it out at $10 or whatever, you know. And I think there's a nice video, some guy made his first $1 million doing that. He was doing it out of his apartment, and then he got his 2 roommates to help him with it. Next thing you know, they needed a warehouse to put the stuff in. It was insane. Yeah, my battery overheats on the camera, cuts me off. But yeah, you know, there's a lot you can do out of there. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to get into doing something for yourself. Even do something little, you know, like we started out, like I say, with the street market. We were selling like whatever, 20 different little items, whatever, and then got more and more and more because people liked it. We looked at what's the largest group of people that we want to sell to. This was school age, and then Target. There's here in Thailand, we know there's like 10 different soup shops, right? Kway. They're everywhere. And why is there everywhere? Because everyone likes it. Doesn't matter if you're 2 years old or 200 years old. And so there's enough in the community to do it. And coffee, everybody is out there drinking coffee. Or a coffee drink or whatever. And so those things work well. You know, if you're trying to sell something special, then it's probably going to be difficult. You're probably not going to make a lot of money, but you know, we never really wanted to, let me straighten this out. We never really wanted to make a lot of money. We weren't into that. I mean, there were years when my wife was making more money than I was. And that was cool, but we never were in it to, you know, let's get rich. We wanted to just do it and have fun and see what we could do with it and hang out and all that. And it was a good time. Could we do that here again, now that I'm retired? Probably. not so much the hip-hop side, but we could do something. But we're not there yet, like I said. But I would encourage everybody to do it. You know, if you're here in Thailand and you're thinking about, you know, helping your wife out or something, the family, open up a little shop or something, you know, I would say don't go big or go home, that kind of thing. You don't need to do that. Just get a little place, you know. Maybe you're paying 150 bucks a month for rent or whatever, you know, and you spend another couple $100 on some products that you're gonna sell or cook, like Goodwill, or if you're gonna do coffee or stuff like that. Your family's probably got a bunch of pots and pans at home and stuff like that. You put it together and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, hey man, this is very cool, very popular. I remember early in the days when I was first coming to Thailand, I was like, hey, I could open up, you know, I wanted to open up an internet cafe shop, you know, or even a new international school, you know, so many big ideas. And now the internet cafes and stuff kind of gone by the wayside because everybody's got a phone, man. And your phone is on the internet, so. But there's something. You can be creative. You can be an entrepreneur and have fun with it, you know. Have residual income that adds to your base, and you can do fun stuff with it. All right, man, well, that was kind of a long tale from the hoodie, I think. But don't get me started. Well, I hope you liked it. And remember, you too can prevent forest fires. All right, you guys. Back at you in the next video. See you.